YouTube, this is Necrostevo and you're watching my 65th narrated Wi-Fi battle. First thing foremost, I want to thank you all for 200 subscribers. I would not have dreamed that I had reached this point so quickly if it weren't for you all. I will have a 200 sub special up soon, so be on the lookout for that. Today's match is against FluffyisABoss or Bakugan Super Bakugan, whichever name. I'll put a link to his channel in the description, but it was for Periodic Superfans tournament that he had. So it was a regular standard tourney. He started off with Scizor, I started off with Melodic, and knowing that the worst thing he could do to me is just Brick Break, and I figured he would switch out using U-turn. I just set up my Stealth Rocks. He did switch out, which is nice. He goes out to Vaporeon, and I was expecting maybe Toxic. So I went out into Ambiatu just to sponge that, but he actually subs up, which is a little bit annoying because that means I have to actually break through this thing. But knowing that I'm probably going to be faster than most variants of Vaporeon, I stay in and set up Light Screen with my Light Clay Xatu. It's a good thing I did that, but even with the Light Screen up, that Ice Beam does a ton of damage, so it is no good to stay in there. And knowing that he's probably just going to keep on firing off Ice Beams, I go out to my own Scizor, Psycha, which for those of you guys who watched Durarara, that's a reference to the blade that's used in the show. But anyways, a U-turn is going to break that sub, allow me to get out into something else that'll take the possible Scald and or Surf a lot better than my Scizor would. So I go out to Shroud, he goes for Scald. I'm hoping that I don't get burned, but I get burned. So 30% chance, already kind of nullified my leftovers early on in the match here. No biggie though, because I can outstall Vaporeon. Figuring that he was just going to go for Substitute again, I went for Taunt. And now he can't use Substitute, so no more stalling from Vaporeon, so that is good. I wasn't sure if he'd switch out or if he'd just stay in, and I figured residual damage is good against just about anything on his team, so I went for my own burn on him, which is good, because now he's going to be taking that great residual damage, and I can just stay in and recover off the damage that I'm taking from the burn and his attacks, because with the light screen up, I can essentially outstall anything that he wants to do to me. That's the only reason his attacks are doing so little, is because of that light screen, because Sableye does not have very good defensive presence. But anyways though, he just stays in and continues going for Scald, and I could have swapped out into something to take advantage of the light screen, but I was actually just paranoid that something else would get burned, and I really didn't want anything else burned, so I just stayed in here, kind of stall him out. I played really, I guess, tenuously this battle, and I normally don't. Normally I'm a little bit more offensive, but since it was a tournament match, I was playing a little bit more carefully than I otherwise would be. My style really isn't like that, so you should really stick to what you know. If you guys play differently when it's a tournament match, I'd be interested to hear, because normally I'm much more offensive, wanting to get things going a little bit quicker. But he finally swaps out, goes out into Ampharos, as I went for, I think, Recover just to get my health back. And I'm looking at his Ampharos going, okay, it probably has Electric, a Hidden Power, some type of coverage move, and maybe Focus Blast. Because Ampharos does not have a very deep move pool. He could also go for Substitute or Cotton Guard. I wasn't really sure what to expect, so I just went for Substitute to scout to see what he was going to go for. He goes for Signal Beam, which kind of confused me, because as far as coverage moves go, Bug isn't very high up on the list, at least on Ampharos isn't. But knowing that he'll either go for the Electric attack now or the Signal Beam, I go out to Miltank, who can take either one of those very, very nicely, and then just Miltank off the damage, essentially. That was a bit of a misplay, because I don't take that quite as well as I thought I was going to. But I am faster than him. Miltank has a nice 95 base speed, and Ampharos is relatively slow for being an Electric type. So that is pretty nice, as I'm able to just get the health back. And I'm looking at the damage from Thunderbolt, based on the leftovers and my Milk Drink that I'm doing. I'm doing... Based on min-max damage, I can recover a little bit more damage than he's doing. So yet again, I try to kind of do some weird stalling, which is not really, again, my style. And then here he shows me that he has Thunder. And then that makes me go, well crap, so much for trying to stall. Because that does a significant amount more than Thunderbolt naturally. I was also surprised that he hit it that first turn, because, I don't know, outside of Rain, Thunder seems kind of like a liability unless you're using a Galvantula. But he goes for Thunderbolt again, maybe thinking that he'd lower my HP enough to kill me. And it's still not enough to kill me. So good job, Miltank. I guess I was just cooking steaks, because I left you in there to get hit by Thunderbolt over and over and over. And essentially, when something gets hit by lightning, it's going to be cooked. So I did go for heal by that turn because I figured I had stalled enough. It was really unnecessary stalling, to be honest. But I did get the burn off of my Sableye, so that helps. Seeing how slow he is, though, I figured that my Scizor could outspeed him and go for a U-turn and knock him out. He brings out his own Scizor, which is not banded, actually. You see the leftovers on it. But that banded U-turn does a chunk to it, which is very, very nice. And I'm able to send back out Shroud, hoping that he'll maybe stay in and take a burn to the face. Maybe. That'd be nice. But not likely, of course. He's likely going to swap out of there. And I was thinking that he would swap out of there, so I went for Substitute just to see what he was going to do. And he goes for U-turn, which sucks, because I completely overpredicted. I could have just burned the Scizor and effectively neutered him. Burn Scizor, it's really, you needed quite a few boosts there to get past that burn. But now he's back out to the situation that we were in before, Ampharos versus my Sableye. And I recovered just to make sure I was hoping he'd go for Thunder and miss, because I think he figured that the Thunderbolt wouldn't do enough damage. So I was really hoping he'd go for Thunder and just miss right there. He goes for the Thunderbolt though, and then it literally did the exact same thing that happened before. It does a little bit less, but I'm not going to bother stalling out this time. No, we're done with that this battle for the most part. And I just went for Will-O-Wisp, hoping that he'd go for Thunder and miss, expecting me to recover up some more, but he hits Thunder again. No biggie. At least I got some residual damage going on him. It's kind of like a little curse after he's dead there. But this is what I tried to do last time, bring in Scizor, U-turn out, kill it with something, and I am able to kill it. I think that was min-max damage, maybe depending on how bulky he is, but the burn helped out for sure. So I go back out into my Xatu, knowing that wherever he brings up, I can lightly outspeed it maybe, or set up screens. He brings out Raikou, and I still didn't have anything that I wanted to take electric attacks with, but surprisingly I outspeed it, and he goes for an electric gym boosted Thunder, which is going to destroy Xatu even with the light screen up. I was really just more surprised that I outsped there more than anything, because they have a pretty big speed difference between Xatu and Raikou, so he must not be running a plus speed nature. Anyways though, I go out into Scizor thinking that with the light screen up I can live anything he wants to go to, barring Hidden Power Fire really. He goes for Calm Mind, and that's fine by me because a choice banded U-turn is going to do a ton of damage, and in fact it is going to take him out with a crit. That crit may or may not have mattered. I'll need to run some damage calcs on it. I don't know what type of HP he was running, because if he's running a Calm Mind variant, it's likely he's running some HP since he didn't outspeed Xatu, so that means he wasn't running speed. So now I'm able to go out into my Infernape, Mach Punch Vaporeon for the kill, just in case he had some, weird time to switch out right there or something like that. And he goes out into Tyranitar, which kind of confused me, unless it was maybe Scarfed. That's the only thing I could think of at the time. But I really had no reason to switch out right here, so I just stayed in and went for close combat. And he didn't have Tropical Berry or anything, he just died from the close combat, so I thought that was kind of a weird play. But maybe he just wanted to lower my defenses some more. Because had he gone on in a Scizor, then maybe with my defenses lowered, a Bullet Punch would have done more? I'm not really sure. He brings out Houndoom now, and yet again, I have no reason to swap out, so I think maybe at that point he just kind of was out of options there. But, Infernape gets a nice little cleanup sweep here at the end of the battle. And I think his last is still going to be that Scizor that he had earlier. Of course, now I have the defensive drops, so I don't really want to stay in on a Bullet Punch, because even though it will be resisted, minus, 2 defense, is going to really not enjoy taking a Bullet Punch. So I go out to Psycha to take the Bullet Punch. He's going to actually, I think, switch moves here, and I'm just going to go for the Choice Band and Brick Break. He goes for X-Scissor, which is not something you commonly see on Scizor, especially alongside U-turn. But a Choice Band and Brick Break is able to take him out. So that was a nice, sweet, safe battle right there, and I get to move on in the tournament match. And thank you very much for the battle. And I hope you all enjoyed this. Be looking forward to my 200 sub special in a few days here. And in the meantime, be sure to check out the newest chapters of Apocalypse Now, because needless to say, zombie Snorlax. That's all I'm going to say about Apocalypse Now. You all have a great week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.